that radio. You call that radio TV. You call that radio TV.
This is You Call That Radio.
This is You Call That Radio TV, and it's an absolute honour to welcome on Jason from Sleaford Mods. How you doing, mate?
How you doing?
Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate it. Massive fan of your work, and the new album's incredible.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just watching as well. I watched the Bunch of Kunst film.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's really well done, man. I like the way it kind of sort of it captures that going on stage gig anxiety and the hard slog that many people don't really think about or don't realise goes into it.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. You got to be in it. You got to be in it to win it. But I mean, if you're not into it, then you're not going to win it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's all right being like going there, going, yeah, I want to go on like X Factor or like, you know, I want to be in like some shit pop band or whatever. But do you know, that's bullshit. You know, the real deal is real deal's on the shop floor. You know what I mean? You've got to love it. You got to want it. You've got to be in love with it.
Just watching like the main ones, obviously, during the film is just before he's go on stage at Glastonbury, and it just reminded me of what I mean, it's weird, like, because I get that sometimes when I go on stage, but not all times I go on stage. Is it? But when you say I hate this part, I could totally relate to that. But does that happen often, or is that just like special occasions or just random occurrences?
What, like what? Going on stage?
Yeah, just when you've got 5 minutes to go and you're just like, I hate this bit.
Yeah, it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible, yeah. I mean, you know, sometimes it's like you've got to look at it like philosophically, you know what I mean? You just think, well, no, I'm just going to go on and do it. Nothing's going to go wrong. And generally, when you think like that, nothing goes wrong, you know what I mean? Nothing goes wrong anyway, really. I mean, we play the type of music that if you fuck up, it doesn't matter.
It's with the also just a wee shout out to the Smarmy who I think a lot of the Sleaford Mods army are in tonight, and it's just a good fan base you've got together, a good bunch of people, and they've actually been supporting my band Gyro Babies. They bought vinyls and they're really supportive of just not just Sleaford Mods but music in general.
Yeah.
What I love about it most is man, that you seem to just sort of there is no specific age group that likes Sleaford Mods. It just seems to be everyone from young kids right up to old punks who it seems to have brought them back into the live music scene where they thought that maybe it wasn't for them anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, on the looking at it from the outside, it looks quite vulgar, but it's not. It's like everyday. It's everyday perceptions that everyday people can relate to. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, a few people are going to catch up. You know, in about 20 years or whatever, there'll be a lot more people catching up with this. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's music for everyone. Everyone loves it.
And just to talk a little bit about the new album, shouts to Andrew on the beats, man. He's done a great job of it. And the collaborations are incredible, especially Billy No Mates, who I've just rinsed her album last year on repeat. It's an incredible piece of work, and then I was buzzing to see her new EP launch on Saturday there as well, man. I mean, once this pandemic over, I can just see her really taking over.
Yeah. Hopefully, you know, it's gonna kick off. Well, it will kick off. It's just a matter of time, you know. She's put a lot of work into what she's doing in that, obviously, but at the same time, it comes quite quickly to her. Just like it does to Amy, you know, who was on Nudge It as well. Band Amler, the Sniffers, they've got a new album coming out. So, you know, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to listening to that. But yeah, going back to tour, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? It's just fantastic. You know, we're number one fans, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Amy and the Sniffer shouts to them as well. We got in the comments Petra saying Amy's my girl crush. And Sharon saying, I'm so hyper, love you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Darren.
Ian Cameron's raising his hands up for the old punks in the crowd.
Yeah, we're all old punks. We're all old punks. They're not you, mate. You look a bit younger than us. You know what I mean?
What, if someone said Bob Villan, Sleaford Mods collabed in the line, is that a thing?
No.
You've been checking out Bob Villan stuff?
No, it's not for me, man. It's all right. It's just not my thing, though.
What is speaking of things that might not be your thing, Mumford and Sons?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty bad, really. You can't go around supporting people like the author of the book that is basically just saying that it's bad for people with no options and no life to start screaming about an unfair life, you know. Basically, that's what the book is, you know. Yeah, it was worrying that, you know, apparently the guy had a history with this stuff, liking that kind of thing. You know, he's in a very, very big band, you know what I mean? So this normalises that type of thing, which is extremely concerning. If that's going out to a commercial arena on a regular basis, as in a matter-of-fact way, then, you know, that's bad, you know. I mean, it's bad enough at the minute, do you know what I mean? But to have that seeping into people's consciousness, you know, eventually some people are going to get into it, you know.
Well, yeah, it looks like he's. Well, I didn't know the ins and outs of it all, but it looks like he's deleted the tweet. And I don't really know. But Mumford and Sons aren't really on my radar. I just wrote. It's just not for me. It was never for me, that kind of stuff. Anyway.
No, and I think, to be honest, there was a lot of people waiting for something like that to happen to that band, because I don't think that. I mean, they're hated, aren't they? They really are hated. I mean,
well, as everyone did, you sort of have that. The spider sense was tingling that they might be cunts.
Well, I mean, they're probably not all cunts. You know, there's a lot of people from, you know, that sort of social demographic that are nice people. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a cunt if you're rich. You know, a lot of those people come from good stock. So I believe, you know, within that band. But yeah, you know, you just can't go around endorsing oppressors or supporters of oppressors, enablers, you know. And it's not just about, as people say, going on about fascism. It's about being oppressed and people releasing literature that support that. We don't need that, you know. We need to progress as a human race. It's the only way, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've got Shel Tomel saying that she likes your Trechinotkov picture, peeping in the back.
What's that? Where? What? Oh, right. Yeah. Yes, all right. Yeah, that's my partner's. It's original as well, but you know, I won't be putting it on eBay just yet.
We've got Mark McInnes, who's actually been asking for you to come on the show for a long time. He says, I've no slept for hearing you were coming on the show. Big Sleaford Mods fan. Hope to see you play in November at the Barras. There's a massive squad of us all excited about the Barras.
Yes, good venue that is, isn't it? It's wicked.
It's the, you know, I'll be lucky enough to play it, and it's just the ultimate venue, and I'm excited to see. I've never seen you play it before, so it's just the ultimate gig. And if the gigs are back in time for that, I can't think of a better way to come back in. It's looking a bit more optimistic for the gigs, I think. Festival season, how are you feeling about that? Do you think that Boris is getting a wee bit carried away here? Or?
Yeah, I don't know about the UK, but I don't know about anywhere, to be honest, until you know, autumn time. But you never know, you know what I mean? If the vaccine rolls out and things look good, then people, I mean, the government are behind the scenes at the minute, apparently, aren't they, doing tests on festivals, so I heard, or whatever. So I don't know, you know, fingers crossed. It's, you know, it will get back soon, I think, definitely.
It's good to stay optimistic, and yeah, we've had people on from other festivals who seem quite confident, and the whole rapid testing thing might be the way forward and stuff like that. So yeah, we've got to stay optimistic, but not get our hopes built up too much, or you'll just get another crushing defeat after crushing defeat.
Yes. Well, this is it. It's how you prepare yourself for these things, isn't it? You know what I mean? So Who knows? Who knows? But I'm very positive about it. It feels like we're going to come out the other end, so to speak, to a certain degree, anyway.
And I'm excited for the party, even if this is not the summer of love. I think maybe next year might be a summer of love for something equivalent to that for young people who are just going to be able to go out, and hopefully there has been amazing music being made in the background, and people are going to come out with all sorts of new music and new attitudes to life, maybe hopefully a bit more gratitude. That'd be brilliant, man. How's it been? Obviously, you have made an album during lockdown. Was it good to just get off the road for a wee bit? Because you have been non-stop for many years now.
No, it wasn't. I love it. I love touring. Do you know what I mean? It's been good to stay with my family and, be here all the time. And you realise that you kind of, that time that you're not here is quite important, really, when with children and also with like your partner. So that's been good. Do you know what I mean? But I love touring. I love being on the road. It's our bread and butter, and I don't want it to go away. So I'm looking forward to going back. You know what I mean? Did
you consider delaying the album release because there is no live gigs to coincide with it? Or
no.
Do you think it really makes much of a difference? Because I suppose the positive side is that by the time that the tours come back, the fans will have enough time to absorb it and learn the words and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, there's no point delaying it, is it? It's like the album was about the here and now, so it needed to come out at that time. And it's like, if it gets lost in this and if people forget, which I don't think they will, because it's been penned as the best album we've ever done, which is just fucking weird, really. But, I mean, going back to what you were saying, it's, I just... if we had to do another one because people forgot, then yeah, we'd just do another one. Whether that would be as good as this one, who knows? But you just got to lob it out when it's there. You know what I mean? It needs launching at that time, holding it back. I understand why some bands do. You know what I mean? I'm not criticising them, but that's just not an option, really. Certainly not for Sleaford Mods music. I absolutely agree with that. And I would also agree in it being the best album yet. And I think that anyone who maybe disagrees with that is maybe the older school fans. But that initial knockout punch of hearing Sleaford Mods and the is obviously, was a totally a refreshing new thing, because going back, nobody else was doing that. I mean, I hear lots of bands that are doing sort of similar to what Sleaford Mods are doing just now. But at the time, it was completely unique, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. It's like, it's weird because, you do get a lot of people saying, well, it's not like it used to be. And it's like, yeah, it's not going to be, is it? That was like 7 years ago. But at the same time, there's not a lot of bands that can weather that. You know what I mean? It's like most just trail off, and they fucking do. I don't care what anyone says. But we haven't. We've just got more interesting, I think. Whether or not it's to people's tastes who were into it in the early days, whatever, you know what I mean? But, we're in this...
People just say that anyway. People just like saying that stuff.
Yeah, they do. They always do. It's just, it's like people have made this band and people have given us the life we've got. And I won't forget that. But people are also fucking arseholes, you know what I mean? It's like, look, we haven't done anything stupid. We haven't done anything daft. We haven't tried to be something we're not. We haven't, sold out. We haven't come out with shit. Everything has been really, really calculated, really thought about, and we've worked hard, you know what I mean?
And also, it's been good to hear like a lot more singing. Is that just through confidence of performing live that you feel more comfortable doing more sort of singing type vocals?
No, not really. Just for getting into stuff that's got more singing stuff in it, really, and wanting to emulate that inspiration. Do you know what I mean? In your own music, I'd rather not, to be honest, because like rapping or whatever it is not easier, but you really don't, it's just bang, bang. With singing, it's a little bit more, you've just got to be steady with it to a certain degree, you know what I mean? But I don't know, who knows? But yeah, I got more into that kind of thing.
Amazing stuff, man. I'm just going to take a little break for 2 seconds, guys. If you're watching this on Facebook or Twitch or Twitter, you need to get the bus to YouTube. I'll put the link in the comments because fuck Facebook, that's why. So get the bus to Facebook.
Yeah, no respect to the respect to man like Mark. I love what the man talk on the radio. In case you never know. You call that radio, call that the radio. You call that radio, call that the radio. Come and say, in the my name, I'll just go with the flow. In the my name, I'll just go with the flow. Till you Mr. Mark, now go bend down low. Till you Mr. Mark, now go bend down low. Boom. Lot of mercy. Yo. You call that radio. You call that radio. Come and say don't you be another man, I'll go lose your head. Say don't you be another me say and lose the head. Me say radio. Call that a radio. Straight from out of Glasgow. Straight from out of Glasgow, nice enough on the studio. Come and say in my name, I'll just go with the flow. In my name, I'll just go with the flow. Till you Mr. Mark, now go bend down low. Till you Mr. Mark, now go bend down low. No radio. You call that the radio.
Oh, fuck.
If you don't really know what's going on, there's a show that also doesn't know what's going on. Call that radio TV. You call that radio. Call that radio TV. You call that radio TV.
We are indeed building a hang. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in tonight. If you're new to You Call That Radio, then please hit the like, subscribe and share buttons. We've been doing a new show pretty much almost every day of lockdown. So we've done over 250 shows since lockdown began. Thanks to our new patrons, Siobhan, Kirstine, Alistair, John and Stan, and for helping us build this thing. It would not be possible without you. So thank you everyone who's supporting the Patreon. We're live with Jason right now. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Loads of comments coming in. We'll try and get out a couple of comments out and we'll get a couple of questions later on. But I was just wanting to ask you about, you're talking about lockdown. I suppose it was good to make, to get the writing done. I mean, how has it felt like trying to write in these strange times when the world just changes so much on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but I just focus on negative stuff all of the time because I find that more interesting. Obviously there is humour in there and, shreds of hope, perhaps, I don't know. Obviously it's quite intelligent, what we do, I think. So, it's not just negative and completely just biased and single-minded, but in a way it is in some respects. And I find a lot of the frustrations that came out of lockdown and a lot of the frustrations that were aimed at government behaviour and also whatever else, just all poured into it.
And what's the writing process look like for you, man? Do you just get a bit of inspiration and just write it in a winner, or are you going back and doing a lot of editing, or how does it?
Yeah, it does. It varies. You can do it on the spot, or you kind of labour over a lyric, and it turns into a verse, and then turns into a song. You know what I mean? It depends, really. It just depends. It's whatever appeals to you and whatever you feel is going to be effective. As lyrics for Andrew's music,
And we've got some comments coming. Sharon saying it's real. We've got you and Jason should do a collab. I would love to. Anne says, Mark, your mic's awfully low. I've turned that up a wee bit. Sorry if that's a bit low. We've got 420 to hell pulling up Steve's at the wheel. 42 to hell pulling up Steve's at the wheel, says Jen. Thanks to Jen.
Now. Oh dear. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Oh, that was Jen. I don't know.
Right, Jen.
Getting... Well, I think it was actually Jen that spoke to Claire to make this
To
happen.
arrange this. All right, okay, I got you. Yeah.
So shout outs to Jen for that. Joe Bowen, a legend from Glasgow in the underground scene, says keep progressing is the only way to keep fresh.
Cheers, Joe.
Kirsten Jack is saying Austerity Dogs is the best though.
Cheers, Kirsten.
Do you have a favourite album?
No, not really. I mean, like, you know, it's your own music, so you don't listen to it apart from when you're recording it, and then before it's released, you keep listening to it just to make sure. But no, I don't. You know, I mean, they're all good, really. So, I mean, some better than others, but you know, I'm a bit of a wanker. You know, if someone says, "Oh, that song's brilliant," then I go, "Yeah, that song's brilliant."
Well, Jen said, old school fan here, she was there from the start, I believe. She says Spare Ribs replaced Austerity Dogs is my favourite album. Fucking brilliant, well done.
Thank you, Jen. That means a lot.
And Lou McLean is saying 1960s, 1990s, now the 2020s are the next summer of love.
Well, we'll see what happens, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of love at the minute, but I know what you mean. I hear what you're saying about a new consciousness with it all, and there will be at some point, definitely.
We've got a comment coming in from, Tunnel Mental saying, both make great musicians, the most important thing. Johnny Sloan said, how come I thought this was going to be a workout fitness video? Did I dream that? Well, your Twitter name is Fit as Fuck.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I mean, you could just tell, kind of, it just falls off me. So you can understand why people are going to think it's some robust, ripped fitness video. Do you know what I mean?
But it's also important to relax as well, to relax your muscles and not.
Yes, it is very much so, mate. Definitely.
Well, obviously, far from the fitness person myself. With them, regards to sort of performing live and stuff as well. Look, I know that did you stop drinking beer when you were on tour and stuff? Because obviously doing tours on a much smaller scale, I mean that's the sort of tricky bit is. What you're having a few beers after the show and then you've got to go up and travel around in it. It doesn't seem like it's sustainable. No,
it's not. I mean, I didn't used to sleep at all between dates, you know what I mean, for 2 or 3 dates, and it was that, you know, and then you would rest, manage to get some rest or whatever, or come down off whatever you were on. But you can't sustain that, and you know, it's shit, really. You know what I mean? I don't miss that, and I regret it. I really do, you know, because there's so much to see and do in life. You know what I mean? And I spent too many years around a little bag of sniff. You know what I mean?
And was that from the early years right through, or was?
Yeah, from like 21 onwards, pills, whiz. Do you know what I mean? Booze, obviously. Booze was always there. Cigarettes, weed. And then cocaine, you know, cocaine was the one. Cocaine.
And it just stopped. Just quit it all then, basically.
It took a while, really. It took a while. It was like a stop and start type thing, and it wasn't until I eventually gave up drinking that it all stopped. But I had some help with. I had like psychotherapy. For a year and a half, and so that really helped. But it's not, it's not feasible for a lot of people. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have the 50 quid a week to do that, but a lot of people ain't. And, you know, waiting on the NHS for that kind of thing takes a long time. So it's a real trap, you know what I mean?
I did notice as well one time, we played a gig and I think it was Leeds or something, and the promoter was so tight that he wouldn't even give us a beer rider, and we were completely skint, and we drove all the way from Scotland to Leeds and we didn't have any money. We came from a festival and we were expecting to at least get a rider, so I was kind of forced to perform a gig with no booze and be completely sober. And what it did teach me was a good lesson that I've kind of tried to remain to this point is that the actual buzz that you get from performing, I mean, I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's just you actually feel it, and it's great. And now, you know, I would never have more than one pint before a gig, unless maybe it's a festival, a Sunday at a festival, maybe the rules change slightly, but you can actually enjoy it. And obviously it's much more nerve-wracking going on stage, but after a song it tends to just sort of calm down, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, Yeah. I mean, it's a real tough one. I think with beer, alcohol especially is like it's something that you either battle or it's something that just doesn't touch your life really, you know. So, but because it's just deemed as normal, and yet it's extremely destructive, you know. It really just catch people by surprise. But yeah, doing it without beer. The minute I gave up, the performance changed, my voice changed for the better, you know. Everything started to slowly rebuild itself in my head, and you know, I swear by it now. You know, I recommend it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I was also wanting to ask as well, man. I mean, how did it feel when you seen Iggy Pop calling you the best rock and roll band?
Yeah, it's just can't. I still can't take that in, really. You know, that is.
And that's definitely one. That's definitely one for all the, you know, because obviously there's a load of the sort of older punks who embraced Sleaford Mods, but I imagine there would have been a whole other bunch that would have went, you know, that's not music because it doesn't fit the particular formula that they're used to.
Yeah,
so for someone like Iggy Pop to kind of back it up, it's just a kind of sort of a big middle finger to all the cunts.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to still get a massive audience, and there is a bigger audience that still rely on the old gimmicks and stereotypes of punk music or whatever, guitars, drums, singer that jumps up and down, you know what I mean, or starts screaming or tries to act moody. You know, that's what they want. A lot of people, the mass market requires that.
Conforming to non-conformity.
Well, it's just like, you know, that's what a lot of people, they don't want anything else. They don't want to think outside the box, do they? So you will tend to become more successful if you are within that well-trodden genre, you know, and using the same old tools. So, yeah, it was a real smack in the face for a lot of people when Iggy Pop said that, because I know a lot of people that are, you know, of that mentality of, you know, they don't want change, that really do look up to Iggy Pop. You know, the Stooges were a massively influential band, you know what I mean?
Speaking of influences, man, what other bands just on your musical journey growing up and or just doing, because I know you were in bands before and stuff like that, what kind of music really kind of inspired you?
Growing up?
Well, yeah, we'll start with growing up. Yeah, we'll start with growing up. The main ones are growing up.
Usual, really. Pistols, Jam, Motown, hip hop, Def Jam stuff, Public Enemy, LL Cool J, Eric B. Moving on from that, Wonder stuff, Roses, and then back onto Paul Weller, Oasis, and then, you know, moving from that to Wu-Tang, to a host of other, loads of shit, Terry Callier, loads of stuff, loads of 60s beat stuff, loads of psychedelic stuff, country folk, do you know what I mean? Fred Neil, blah, 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 moving all the way up to a finally found the formula for Sleaford Mods, and then, you know, just kept listening to rap, especially, and sort of first wave, second wave punk, like the Exploited, English Dogs, stuff like that. You know, garage, really crap punk, really bad, you know what I mean? But I really found it inspiring, the Meteors, etc., you know, and that kind of formed the foundations for Sleaford Mods, kind of Two Lone Swordsmen. You know, obviously when Andrew came into the mix, that just shook it up even more. Andrew is, I mean, if you ever ask Andrew what he's listening to, it's just, he listens to so much. It's like I don't know. It's really, I can't put it into words, and I know that sounds wank, but he's he's got some really in-depth taste, not just in music but in everything, you know. So that all shaped it. Do you know what I mean?
It's good to hear about the hip hop, because I know that for a fact that there's people in all aspects of the underground community in Glasgow that love Sleaford Mods, and I think that, you know, speaking from my own band and stuff, it kind of just gave everyone a little bit of hope that you could keep your regional accent and you could talk about stuff, and it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't stop you from, you know, it felt like the doors were closed I'm sure they were when before you guys as well. I'm sure you felt like the idea of playing a big stage at Glastonbury or going on Jules Holland and all those things felt like there was a big gateway that would stop that happening. So for it to actually happen organically and then used to do that, it made everybody just start believing a wee bit more. And I'm sure there's people as well, mentioning the hip hop, I know for a fact that there's people in the hip hop scene in Scotland as well who go up against some major prejudice because they're keeping their Glasgow accent or their northern accents. And it feels like it feels like maybe that's starting to change a little bit.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I was brought up on bands that like turn the tide and like give people a bit of inspiration. Loads of bands, you know, bands that stuck to their guns, bands that were kind of really cool and like just you couldn't touch them really. And then, you know, to be in a band that kind of did some of that was like, it's a dream come true. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say here is this was at 43 years of age with my own accent, Andrew, you know, doing his shit. Do you know what I mean? It's like anything's possible. Just stick to it. If you love it enough and you persevere with it, you're going to get somewhere. You really are. I do believe that, you know. You've just got to keep going through those walls, you know what I mean? And I think, yeah, I mean, it's really nice that has, like you say, inspired people because, yeah, I mean, it took us totally by surprise. I mean, it really did. I mean, it's like, we knew it had some groove and some rhythm and like, yeah, this is it, you know what I mean? This works, you know, it flows. But we didn't think it would get out of Nottingham, let alone, you know, turn into what it has, you know what I mean?
And you see that as well when you're playing European festivals and stuff, and there's people saying that, you know, that maybe they don't even understand what you're saying, but it doesn't matter because they can hear the passion. And it's like if you listen to any music of any genre, you can hear the pain, you can hear the love, you can hear different emotions in it. So I don't think it's important that you need to hear every single word. And if you really love a band, you can look up the lyrics these days and find out what it's all about.
Yeah. I mean, music's got to change. It's got to go somewhere. It's got to evolve. And we came out of a period where it was stagnant. And, you know, when we started coming up, you see loads of other bands, you know, coming up that weren't in our genre, but, you know, stuff that you could tell had evolved from its own genre, you know what I mean? Things were changing slightly, and that's how it has to go, you know. You know, one day someone will come along, I think, that will that will have lots of brilliant properties of what we've got and, you know, make it even bigger perhaps, you know. And I think this happens across all genres, you know. Bands open doors and then other bands kind of move forward with what they got and do something even better with it, you know. So it's all gravy, innit? That's what it's about, you know. I mean, it's like, I love it and I love the way evolves. I love the fact that it tells people, gives people confirmation about their own lives, you know. And I'm not just talking about Sleaford Mods, like any good music, you know, makes people aware that they're alive, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I mean, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear people in their regional accent because to me that's authentic, and that's what I want to hear as a music fan. Forget about anything else. If
you're listening to like Raekwon or something, or Inspector Deck, you know, they're not trying to be anyone else. And it's like, well, then I'll do that then. With what I've got, I'll try and make the best with the tools that I've got. And it's really as easy as that. I mean, obviously it's hard work. And, you know, I'm not saying it's easy, but, you know, the best ideas are always simply conceived, you know. The mechanisms of how you grow that idea and turn it into something. Yeah, that's hard, but you know the way they're conceived is really simple.
When you started, because obviously you've meant it was a you put the work in. It was far from, you're one of those overnight successes that put in years and years of hard work that the media would call it overnight success. And I think one of the thing by changing to the format of just Andrew and yourself, how much easier did that make the workload? Did that mean that you could start taking gigs that weren't paying as well and stuff like that, and just generally make things easier so you're not loading out amps every day?
Well, that was just coincidental, you know. it was only after about a year and a half that people saying, "Man, you've really, really sewed this up, haven't you? What a great business plan!" And we were just sat there going, "What? What do you mean?" And it's like, but then it struck me that yeah, we haven't got any equipment, you know, and there is only 2 of us. But that was not the aim, you know. The aim was to write good tunes, and like I think it took me about 15 years to realise that bands were just not happening for me. It just was not happening. It was like, this is dated. It's clumsy. It's too heavy. It's like, I don't need this albatross around my neck. You know what I mean? Or ankle. Is it around your ankle or around your neck? Albatross.
I don't know, man.
But it's like
an albatross around your elbow.
Yeah.
I think it's something like that.
But yeah, you know, it's like I just thought this ain't working. And when I started getting into more electronic music and recording with engineers, you know, I love the whole setup of it, like just the mic and the screen, and there's just 2 of you in there or 3 of you. But you know, you haven't got to wait for anyone to tune up. You're not walking around with some big wooden stick. You know, it's like there's like strings on it. It's just you lot, you know, and your ideas. And I thought it really felt more contemporary and more me at the time. So that's why we did it, you know. And Andrew's obviously, he's always done stuff on his own. He's always performed on his own, apart from obviously, you know, the early days of being in bands like we all do, you know what I mean? But so that was it, really. I mean, that was just.
You just met? Is that true that you just met randomly at a kind of like a kind of eclectic event of lots of different artists playing? And that's how you met?
Yeah, I was supporting a noise artist from Los Angeles. Some guy come over called, I forgot his name, but he was good. You know, I was supporting doing a lot of support slots for noise artists, or a few anyway. And I always found the noise scene quite interesting because it was the same kind of aggro music as what I was doing, the early incarnation of Sleaford Mods. And, you know, it kind of didn't really fit in with anything. And I didn't feel I fit in with anything either, you know. And that's when I met him, because he was DJing at one of the gigs, you know. So I just got talking to him and, you know, we swapped numbers and that was it.
Amazing stuff. I don't want to take too much of your time, Jason, so what I'm going to do is have a quick 10-second break for anyone. I know there's lots of questions coming in. I'm going to try and pick a few out. So if you rewrite the question again, guys, if you want it, and we'll try and get a couple of questions before we go.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale.
Powered by our patrons. We are indeed powered by our patrons. Just a wee shout out for tomorrow. We've got the legendary Nick Reynolds of Alabama 3 fame, who is actually said hi, Jason.
Yes, I know Nick a little bit. He's all right. Right, Nick.
Yes, we're absolutely Alabama 3 legends. We're going to be speaking to Nick tomorrow. And we've got Frenetic, who's an amazing drum and bass jungle DJ, at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And then we've got the brilliant Minerva Wakes doing a secret listening party on Saturday, so we shout out to that. Loads of comments coming in. I'm just going to read a few questions. Joe Bowen was interested, is John Cooper Clarke had any influence on your material?
No, none at all. I met him once, actually. He's a lovely bloke, but no, I wasn't kind of motivated by Dr. John's work, do you know what I mean? But he's obviously very good, do you know what I mean?
Cunt Chops is asking, Salvatore for Bristol or Brighton, I think it is asking about idols.
Oh, God, no, let's not talk about that shit. Let's move on, yeah.
Move on. And we've got ask Jason if he ever heard our remix of BHS. Tunnel Mental's asking. We did that after we saw them play in LA.
Oh, no, I don't think I have. I might have done, actually. I can't remember. But, yeah, that was a good gig. That was really good.
Gordy Duncan Jr., that's our drummer from the Gyro Babies. He says, hello guys, loving the new song with Amy Taylor. Saw the full band in Scotland and they blew my mind. How did the collaboration come about?
We were kind of, Andrew had met them all, and I was kind of a fan of Amy's stuff, and we were both fans of the band, you know what I mean? And we got talking about collaborations, and it was suggested we give Amy a shout, and we thought that was a good idea, We spent some time thinking about what we were going to do. It took a while, but it's a classic song, we're really, really happy with it. And she's lovely. They all are, actually. They're really, really nice people.
It's such a great song. I watched that video repeatedly over lockdown. I can't wait to see that one live. Jen is asking, at Hyde Park the day before the first Glasgow, I overheard Jay tell a friend that he didn't want a beer and had been off it for a month. Has it been since then that you've stayed sober, Jay? Well done.
No, God, no. I think I tried, you have like dips and dabs, you keep falling off the wagon, don't you? But that was probably one of them, definitely not. I didn't give it up till 2016, I don't think. Yeah, 2016.
Amy's saying, love the new album and your work with Billy No Mates too. Absolutely. If anyone's watching this that hasn't heard Billy No Mates, you need to do that right after this show.
Ooh.
And we've got Mark McInnes is asking, what song has the most words, lyrics in it? Because, it's hard to keep up with.
Oh, God, fucking hell. They've all got, there's loads, tons. The earliest stuff have got more lyrics in, I think. There's loads of them. Especially off Key Markets. Key Markets has got fucking tons of words on it. Tons. Woo!
Do you ever regret it? When you've write something with too many words and you're like, I shouldn't have done, when you've got to start taking it into the live arena?
No, I don't regret it. I just think, is it still any good, Or I can't listen to a lot of the stuff. I just think, no, that I can't. But then it's a tough one. If you play any of them live, I think that's actually good. So, asking the artist what they think of their own stuff is not the greatest sometimes, is it? You know what I mean?
Nesto is asking, best up-and-coming rock punk groups, and where do you see the scene going?
Don't know. I'm not really a punk. I don't really listen to much, you know what I mean? I mean, I am, I think. I class myself as a punk, but I don't really listen to much punk music, do you know what I mean? It's not, I don't really find it in the obvious genre of it, I find it in other stuff, do you know what I mean? More. I think, the
ethos of punk.
Sorry?
The actual ethos of punk rather than
I think the early incarnation of punk, like the late 60s version with the Stooges and a few other bands, and then moving to the early 70s stuff with the New York Dolls and all that, and Bowie arguably, you know what I mean, Roxy Music or whatever, and then to the mid 70s classic punk period has made such an impression on people that they can't fucking shake it. You know what I mean? And it's like it gets really hard to, for me anyway, to relate to anybody that's doing that kind of stuff, or moving up to date with your obvious kind of sort of what we see now that's in so-called successful punk bands. You know what I mean? I just find it so tired.
We think we've got Paul Gallagher says, thanks for mentioning Oasis from Patrick Murray.
Jesus Christ. Get him off.
You're a punk in my eyes, says Sharon.
Bless you. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you very much.
And love the iTop collaboration.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, it's really funny, actually. They really did a good job with that. I was really, really impressed.
And obviously Prodigy collaboration as well. What did that mean to you at the time?
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, still very proud of that. It gets better, really. It's like a fine wine, that tune. Do you know what I mean? It gets better with age, I think, But yeah, obviously very proud of that. And it was nice to have spent a bit of time with the band, you know what I mean? Still talk to Liam occasionally, you know what I mean? He's a lovely bloke. They're all lovely blokes, you know. God bless Keith, you know what I mean? But very, very honoured to have shared some time with the Prodigy.
Absolutely, legends. Claire Groves is asking, you mentioned country music. Which current country artists are you listening to?
I'm not really. We have more folky stuff. Don't know. Aldous Harding, Katie J. Pearson. Who else? Fuck. Billy No Mates, but I mean, you know, she's very different. She's not straight just folk, but you know, it's obviously.
Yeah, you can hear that. You can hear the influence, but she's just taking it in her own direction.
Yeah,
but I love that about her.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that in there, but mostly Aldous and Katie J. Pearson at the minute.
And we've got also shout outs to the lockdown thing you did with Robbie Williams, man. That had me in stitches.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, Robbie's all right. He's a nice bloke. Do you know what I mean?
It was the most unexpected thing of 2020, and there was a few unexpected things happened, but that cracked me up.
Yeah, I mean, he likes his music, you know, and I think he got in touch. I think I slagged him off on Twitter actually, and he got in touch, and he was just so charming with it all, and it just made me think, yeah, this is bullshit, you know, and apologised, and then occasionally, once every year, he says hello or whatever, but he just likes the music, you know what I mean? And it's, you know, he's a fan of music, you know what I mean? As much as people tend to think that he's this, that, and the other, and he gets a rough fucking deal, that bloke does. But he just likes his music, you know.
Gary Herd is asking, what do you think of Radical Dance Faction?
Don't know much of it. You know, I think Andrew's a bit more familiar than me. You know, if I sort of say, I've not heard of them, what do you think, Andrew? Oh, yeah, they're all right, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll reel off a couple of album names. But I've not heard that much of them. In fact, Andrew might not have either. So, Andrew, if you're watching, I do apologise if you're like, fucking hell.
Just to sort of wrap up a wee bit, man, I loved a film that the Invisible Britain, is it Invisible Britain it was called?
Yeah.
The film you did, I was lucky enough to see it down in Brighton, and I thought it was a brilliant film. And could you just tell us a little bit about that, because I think it kind of coincides with, you know, it's not just about the music, it's also about having a message behind it, and I thought that film beautifully just brought it up both together.
Yeah, that was kind of shot around the same time as Bunch of Cunts, so it was a little bit weird having like two parties there filming, but it was all right. Those were the early days, you know, and it was, I think, it was good. You know, Paul, who was doing it, he had some ideas about it. Him and Nathan, we got a guy called Nathan, him, Paul and Paul and Nathan, who you know, got the thing together, and you know, it was just the two of them just bobbing around, and yeah, Christine with her crew doing a bunch of cunts. And I just think they wanted to record something that they thought was, you know, it was a special period. You know, there was obviously a lot of fuss behind us when we came out, and it was good. It was good, really good.
Was there a moment where you actually just felt like there was a change in the air for your own music, for Sleaford Mods, that you thought, okay, this is maybe going somewhere?
Oh, we knew by then that it was kicking off. You know. It was just, it was really, I don't know, I think when we got to Glastonbury, that's when, or even, I don't know, I couldn't tell you, you know, to be honest, getting 100 people at a gig was a fucking whoa. It's like, whoa. You know, selling out the Chameleon in Nottingham, that was like, whoa. You know, we sold out a venue in London, and we were like, whoa. Do you know what I mean? So it was just like, those things are the ones that make you realise that, you know, you're getting somewhere, you know what I mean?
And my last question for Jason, I've been asking everyone this, because we've done, I don't know, 260 shows or something since lockdown began, and I've been living the answers to this. It's okay, imagine restrictions are fixed tomorrow, everything's back to normal, and you've been asked to curate a gig. So Sleaford Mods, you pick a venue and a couple of acts you would like to share the stage with, just for a nice comeback Rammy.
Who would I like to share the stage with?
And what venue? And what venue would be the one that you think you would like to do that?
Don't know. I'm not really big on the old venues, but I'd love, you know, Billy No Mates, Amlin and the Sniffers. Who else? God, tons of people. Is there tons of people? I mean, Alex Cameron, Aldous Harding, obviously. You know what I mean? These people I'm really influenced by. I don't know. Who knows? That'd be it, I think. I don't know. I don't really go further than that. I think sometimes it's best not to meet your heroes, isn't it? You know what I mean? Sometimes you think that, yeah, I'll go and see if we'll get them on the bill or whatever. And it's like, sometimes it's not a good idea, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so sometimes it's good to meet your heroes, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because people are by nature just cunts, aren't they? It's like, oh, gosh. And some people have had enough, you know.
Do you think it's harder to not be a cunt once you've had fame for maybe, you know, 20 years, once you've been famous for that long? That maybe
I think it's really hard not to be a cunt, full stop, isn't it? So it's like, right, you know, I mean, I think like, oh, you know, 30 years or 20 years, you know, it's like, it's going to be like, yeah, fucking twilight of your life or whatever. So it's like, how am I going to be, you know? And it pays to be nice. It does pay to be nice. It pays to be courteous and attentive. So I'm going to try and be that. But, you know, so many people fall into the cunt bin, don't they? So.
Hashtag cunt bin if you're on Twitter. Thank you very much, Jason, being a pleasure to speak today. And the best way for people to support Spare Ribs, I'm assuming, is to get that physical merch from the website.
Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Rough Trade Records, whatever.
Amazing stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight. All the best, man. Hopefully see you at the Barras in November. I've got my ticket, so I'm excited for it. All the best, mate. Thank you very much, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock for Nick from Alabama 3.
You call that radio?
You call that radio?
We're back to the people who hated on me.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant that knocks it out in a minute.
That's mad, isn't it?
Is this a Netflix thing?
It's actually a podcast.
What the fuck's a podcast?
You know, it's kind of like a radio show.
Oh, that! Radio!
Yeah.
Just popped in there. And is there a way we can do something like that?
I couldn't help it.
By injection inside or
Yeah, I think so, because I think just painting in general, because I think like my poem is in my painting.
No, cut.
The cat, what did you do? Oh, shit.
Thank you very much to Jason Williamson. Sleaford Mods, go and check out Spare Ribs. It's an amazing album. We got Big Up Mark, great interviews, Texture. Thanks, Custine Jack. Thank you for supporting the Patreon, Custine. And if anyone has enjoyed the show tonight, hit the subscribe button to YouTube. We've done loads. And if you enjoy the other shows, you can support the show by becoming a patron, as Custine did. So thank you to anyone who's supporting. And Siobhan as well signed up today as well. So thank you very much for that. Lou says, great interview. Thank you, Lou. Thoroughly enjoyed all that. It says 303 player. Nice one. Lots of nice comments coming. Sorry I couldn't read them all out. It was just too many comments today. It was happening too fast. But we're just a wee shout out to the show tomorrow. One more time. It's Nick Reynolds of Alabama 3 fame. He also made a film recently about Brian Jones. He's got such an interesting story. He's a sculptor, son of the great train robber mastermind. Really excited to hear his story. So we've got that tomorrow at 5. Then at 7 o'clock we've got an amazing female drum and bass jungle DJ called Frenetic on Thursday night. And Yeah, who else? Oh yeah, and then Minerva Wakes secret listening party. So for everyone who's a Patreon or anyone who orders the Minerva Wakes albums, you can tune into that one exclusively. And we've got a big St Patrick's Day special on Wednesday, I think it is, on the 17th. And we've got Michael Redman from Father Ted and Stuart Lee. We've got Blackbird and Crow, who are my favourite Irish band of right now as well. And a whole host of amazing acts. So there's loads of stuff coming in here. If it's the first time you've been here, welcome to You Call That Radio. We're here all the time. And we're just going to finish it. Unfortunately, we didn't want to play any Sleaford Mods tunes tonight because we weren't sure how the copyright robots would have felt about that. And I didn't want to get chucked off air for breaching copyright. So we'll finish out a wee tune that we're celebrating. This is from my own band. It's Gyro Babies. We just hit 20,000 views on it, so we're really excited about that. So thank you to everyone who's been supporting the Gyros. Thank you to all the smarmy who have supported the Gyros. And we'll see you tomorrow at 5 for Nick Reynolds of Alabama.
To my credit, I was drinking slowly. Into my detriment, I wasn't really. It's all swings and roundabouts. Hocus pocus, smoking mirrors, postman and higher lit whenever he delivers. If I ever look confused, don't worry mate, I'm getting you. Just correlating day or that. Me one day I'll sell ya. People want the truth, but don't care for facts. They want a black and white soundbite as a green light to react. I'm not angry to see
That is the Gyro Babies, Planet Fort Knox. I've got, who's this? This is Gyro Babies. Cunt Chops 23 says, Nick made the death mask for my best pal. Nick is an absolute legend. He does make death masks, and well, I've only ever seen his work with Reverend D. Wayne Love, Jake Black, who sadly passed away. Nick came on the show before for our tribute to Jake, so it's going to be good to hear his actual story tomorrow. Tune in to see Nick at 5 o'clock. We asked if they wanted one more tune. The highs and lows of Gyro says Mark Mundybank. Shouts to Mark Mundybank, who made the artwork for today's show. And if you want to see more of that, type in Martin Windybank into Facebook. I think it's Martin Windybank Photography he's called these days. So I'm going to play one more tune, and the reason I'm playing it is because this is Minerva Wakes. It's Joe Diarc, who plays bass guitar in the Twistettes, and she's the singer in the Twistettes. She also plays bass guitar for Gyro Babies, but she's went in a totally different new sound that she's created over lockdown. It's called Minerva Wakes, and we're having a little secret listening party on Saturday. So if you're a patron or you pre-order the Minerva Wakes album, you get to join us for that one, and I'm buzzing for it. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in tonight. We just thought I would give you one more tune. This is Minerva Wakes with Tell Me.
that? It's a trap. Will you fight? I have 4 doves in my backyard. I'm comfortable pumping those doves, man.
It's good that people are getting bummed up again because we've not had enough of that. We've not had enough of that. We've not had enough of that. This is a democracy on You Call That Radio. 3, 2, 1.
Your call is very important.